Some say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Gakadash. I get double honors to apostles, elders, and teachers, great men, son from my Lord. And so shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel, if I didn't already say it. But I'm just going to center this lesson around how judgment doesn't discriminate, you know? And, just been watching videos going around with, topic being about women. That just really just came up with this, thinking about that. But, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, doesn't care, when it comes to judgment, if you're a woman. There's actually a law where, if you have a dispute between two men, and a woman gets, like, it specifically says how if a woman grabs him by the stones, she's supposed to get her hand cut off. In other words, women, getting, like, not supposed to be intervening in the, in the dispute between two men. And if you fight break out, you end up, getting shit slapped out of you. Then that's just your judgment. But not only going into women, but also children, because it's a common thing. Like everybody knows that the Lord judges men, but the Lord specifically mentions how right here how He judges women as well and children. Because not everybody is okay with the fact that, for example, you have, especially with this whole pandemic thing, you had, women getting their ass beat. And it's always been like that, murdered or some shit, cutting pieces or some shit. It's not something. And then you would have, one of the prophets of the Lord talk about, they may go into a certain news article or whatnot, talk about how it was judgment for the Lord. And you may not, you're not going to have your average everyday person is going to be happy with that, Ezekiel 7-9. But, once again, the Lord doesn't care if you're a woman. He doesn't care if you're a kid. He doesn't care if you're an infant. Ezekiel 7-9. Where is it? 9-6. Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children and women. A maid is a young woman. I mean, He mentioned women twice. But once again, it's common, everybody, is comfortable with, like a man getting judged. But when it comes to women and children, specifically, and, people talking about how, the prophets talking about how, it's the Lord that did it, not everybody's going to be comfortable with that. But once again, the Lord doesn't care. Slay early, old and young, both maids, little children, and women will come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin in my sanctuary. Then it began at the ancient men which were before the house. You had Elisha, right? This is 2 Kings 2 and 23. And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked them, saying unto him, go with thy bald head, go with thy bald head. And this is after Elijah was taken up into a chariot, and Elisha pretty much, he was mourning, he tore his hair, he tore his hair out, if I'm remembering it correctly. Haven't read this in a little while. But you had little nigglets, pretty much, talking shit. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 42 she-bears out of the wood, and two she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them. And like just another example of how in the past you've had tons of like what there was an instance where you had famines that were so bad to where women had to eat their children. Going into Jacob's trouble, well, it's something you're gonna have. You're gonna have women, like a lot of these, Instagram thoughts, getting gang raped to death. It's like right now, it's pretty much a blessing, to be beautiful and whatnot, but in Jacob's trouble, it's gonna be a curse. Why? Because no holds barred. There's gonna be no rules, and the Lord's gonna allow, these twisted, evil spirits. There's this one guy. Like you have these guys called incels who apparently, involuntarily celibate dudes, who can't get laid, and they're angry. You have some of them that are angry at women. There's this one guy. I think he was he actually killed a couple women, or he at least talked about it. And he was pretty much angry that he couldn't get laid. And you're gonna have dudes like that. There's gonna be no hold bar. There's gonna be no rules. You're gonna have dudes like that having their way. Having their way with all you women, because let your women think you're tough and whatnot. The only reason, you're a threat. I want to say that there's a better way for me to say it, but for lack of better words, the only reason you're a threat is because you're upholded by Esau's system, right? You could I don't know, you got like that, you got guys slap shit out of you or something, or yell at you or some shit. You're gonna have like 10 or 20 dudes jump on him. You can call the cops, you can go to Esau's system, but when that fails and you're on your own, once again, women aren't built for. They're not built for war. They're not built for battle. That's why the Lord has women stay behind, while He has able-bodied men go to war, because you're not built for that. You may have women in your army now, but what happens when the real war starts? When the power goes out, when there's famine, scarcity of food, when you don't have any help, when you're stuck in it for the long haul, when you don't have your guns, or when you run out of ammo, when the fight has to get up close and personal, what are you going to do then? There's also another instance where what going into witchcraft, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to burn the women, right? Instances where you have women stoned, going once again, the everyday, I won't say every day, but almost everyday occurrences of children and women getting taken out, elderly as well, going into Jacob's trouble. All these church going people, these elderly people, Lord's gonna have a dog, tear their head off. It's gonna be gruesome judgment going out to everybody. Once again, judgment doesn't discriminate. The Lord doesn't discriminate when it comes to judgment. If you don't got your shit together, He's gonna put a foot up your ass. That's one of the more terrifying things about the Lord, is the fact that He doesn't care if you're a man, woman, or a child, or a newborn baby. You have people coming out deformed and shit. There's this one kid who had he came out deformed, and he pretty much he pretty much looked like a monster. And you had that, there's a little documentary of his mother telling him that, hey, he wasn't a monster because he had other kids on the playground calling him a monster. And he real, if you want to be real, yes, he did look like a monster, because he had overgrowth of tumors on his face, so his whole shit blew up. And this is something that he was born with. You have tons of people born with deformities and shit. That's judgment, or something they did in the past life. Once again, the Lord doesn't discriminate when it comes to His judgments. He doesn't care if you're what's a popular bitch? What's somebody that guys go crazy over? I guess, I don't know. He doesn't care if you're a Kardashian, or if you're Nicki Minaj or some shit. If you ain't right with him, you're gonna get. He's gonna put a foot up your ass. Once again, you have like the couple years ago, when you go into holidays, there's a little Jake, his like girl. She's going trick or treating, walking with her dad. Well, now she caught a bullet in the chest. That was all the work of the Lord. And a lot of people may say that the God doesn't do that. The reason why there's scripture says, "My people have not known me." You don't. Majority of these people who say that God doesn't create evil or kill. They don't know who and how He really is. That's why you have His men to tell you, because He revealed Himself to His men. But this is just something that just popped up. That was pretty much it. It was quick. But unless I don't have anything else. But yeah, like that was pretty much it. And I just wanted to go into the point how you have like talk about Jacob's trouble. All military equipment moved around. There's one of the elder brothers. I think his name was Kazaki Hawada, and he mentioned there's quite a few videos where he mentioned how he saw visions going into him being I'm guessing it's a FEMA center. I don't know if he said it was a FEMA center, but I'm assuming it was like FEMA center, because he's walking, he's going through, he had rooms, he heard screams of people, men and women and children being tortured. He had piercing screams. He mentioned shit was scary. But once again, he mentioned the Lord showed him that of men, women, and children, meaning like children actually being tortured. Like you may see like some type of movie, how you have somebody like growing like a terrorist, get his nails ripped off, that type of shit. Like that's the type of stuff that Esau wants to do to our people. Right? And that's the type of thing that the Lord is going to let that nigga, not let him, but He's going to command him to do on our people. Once again, that's one of the big reasons that you have the men of the Lord constantly stressing to get right with Yahweh Shema Shai. Read, study, know Him, listen to His prophets. Follow the law to the best of your ability. Like cut out all the little side bullshit, or like beauty pageants, and like just keep the shit simple, and do what you gotta do. Keep your shit straight. Cause like all this bullshit going about how you have I forgot what fucking camp it's talking about, but they say like you have to follow the law. You have to follow the law perfectly, or they follow the law perfectly. T-shirt with fringes, you have to have your fringes. That's part, that's all part of the truth. But the bigger part is, getting your shit right with the Yahweh Shema Shah, and what that means. All this little extra shit is not only going to get you killed, but it's going to get it's going to get your ass whooped and then killed. Like it's just I'm not going to rant or anything, but it's just stupid bullshit that what you gotta do. Like, you have the true prophets of the Lord. You know what you gotta do to get your shit straight. Like, we can't follow law perfectly. So what? The Lord wants to see that we want to. He wants to see us fear Him. He wants to see an attempt. But yeah, like I said, I'll pretty much be repeating myself, but once again, the Lord doesn't discriminate when it comes to judgment, which is one of the things that makes Him even more terrifying. Because you may have kids, loved ones, family, elderly. He could take them out. You may be elderly, you may be elderly, you may be a kid. He can take your ass out, and He won't give a shit. There's a scripture where it goes into how cannot the potter do with the clay. As something around pretty much, if you have a potter and you have some clay, he can do whatever he wants to that clay. He can, build up into a pot and then shatter it. And nobody gonna say shit to him. Why? Because that he made it. Just like the same with everything else. He can do whatever he wants with these people that He created, because everything belongs to Him. Well, I hope that's edifying us. So y'all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shema, Shah, Bashem, Gakodash. I'm on to give double honors to the apostle, elder, and teacher, great millstone from our Lord and His truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel and instruction, Babylon, the great America.